I don't know if we want to do an advertise or anything. I mean, I'm comfortable with Ray. I like him. He's probably going to be the end result, but I think that the way to do it is to open it up. But if you're going to vote on him tonight, then my vote
It's
is
up to
yes.
you. It's up to the board. Actually, he sent me the email. Someone, I think Joe McCann reached out to him.
Yeah.
So I know we have an alternate position. Martha, is there someone who left the alternate, or would he be appointed to the end of the year? Then he'd have to be reappointed. So he would just be filling position till January. Then we do start the process again.
Yeah, we appointed Nancy, right, as a full-time. Nancy Burkhart became full-time, and that opened up the alternate position. Again, my preference is to do it that way, but if everybody else, I have no problem with Ray. I just prefer to give everybody a shot.
Again, we can in January, but it does fill a void until then. And if I don't know how your meetings are going, if you use the alternate, so you don't. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you prefer to bring him in and talk to him, or if you prefer not to, I mean, it's up to the board. You know what you guys think? I'm just throwing it out there.
To a large extent, I would lose as far as that, but I think as an alternate position, it's only going to be basically the position is till the end of the year, and then if we opened it up, perhaps yeah, I feel comfortable doing that. It's also an alternate at the end of the year. Two, I know get the parents who want to be active and involved and excited about a part of their children's club or sports team. The onboarding program shows you how you can do it, and it's not just hey, great, bring some more to see you later and forget about it. It kind of brings them in, and I think that was a really smart thing to do. Very inclusive.
Sure.
Well, I'll do what the board.
Well, I don't know him well, but you guys all do, and I will certainly trust you and take your nod on that.
If you're okay with doing that, and then, but I'll move the idea that in October, November, we maybe should put them out there.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it this way. I mean, I understand what you're saying. But what if we needed a member right now?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Are you gonna wait till January every year because if you really need someone, or if someone comes up? I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, if it's only to the end of the year,
if it would,
you can reappoint or not.
Yeah, it's okay. We can do this. I just feel more comfortable when, even in a situation like this, and a position comes up, we just at least put it on the website, or everybody goes out and, I mean, Ray is a perfect candidate.
We didn't do anything. I don't think maybe I missed the boat on it because I didn't realize we needed an alternate. I forgot, but then he approached us. So yeah. Right. Right. You good with putting it out?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, that's fine.
We'll vote to appoint him till December 31st. And at that time, at the reorg, we decide whether we want to reappoint him or not.
No. Okay. And then we'll open it up to whomever.
However the board decides they feel comfortable, I'm good with it. Okay, number 2 is a temporary use permit at Warren Park. And this is for Soccer Shots Buffalo. It's on Saturdays. This is from September 10th through November 12th. And it's a youth program. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we did this last year. Everything, we had no issues whatsoever. I believe they have their insurance. They do. Any questions from the board on that? If
Not
not,
for me.
Chris said there were no problems,
No,
nope.
so.
All right, then that's on the agenda. This is actually from Martha. And Martha, do you want to discuss what this is about, the codification? A little bit? You probably can explain it better than me.
Well, last year and this year, we passed quite a few local laws. And most of them were done at the end of last year, beginning of this year, and they were sent to general code, and general code sent a proposal. Which came to, I can't find it. Oh, it'll be anywhere between $7,200 and $7,700 to codify everything that we sent to them.
And do we have a budget line for that?
We have a budget line for that. There is a balance in there. But the next thing you'll see is a budget transfer request to give us more money so we don't break that line.
I just throw this out there, Martha. We do have one more coming right down the pipe here, pretty quick. Is it worthwhile to wait or no?
Right. What they can do because of the amount that they have to put in there, they can hold off on doing chapter 116 until we make that change, and then they can just blend it in all together.
Okay, sounds great.
So if we voted on this tonight, it would be for this year, coming out of this
Yes.
year's budget, right?
Correct.
And then we would just have to get with Kathleen and see what line we could.
We did the budget transfer already. It's
Oh,
already,
it's the next, okay.
Yep, it's the
Yep,
next thing.
You're right, right.
Probably we used general code before.
we've used them for longer than I've been here. Extremely.
I think every single town, whenever you go to research, they're all using them.
They're like
Yeah.
in general code.
No?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
Yeah,
any,
like every time you go and look, it's always the same
Yeah.
format, so.
and if they're not using general code, they're doing it on their own.
I think Liz Cassidy loved to do that project. Nice little project for Liz, right?
They figure that's going in the direction.
Yeah, it's the Bulgarian, yes, right? I mean, it's kind of these, it's a lot, but what are you gonna do, right? So kind of no choice.
And
Yeah.
another question about this, did they approach you, or is that something you saw that we had this void and thought, maybe I'll reach out to them and see?
No, we have, once you pass a local law, I send it to the state. Once the state registers it, then I send it to general code to put in our code book. So I sent the ones from last year to them, but then I knew that we were going to be passing two big ones this year, 116 and chapter 65. So I asked them to hold off so that they could do everything together and blend it all together.
That I was asking for that reason, because it's like an eight month gap between the October legislation and effective date.
Right.
And you said, they start to ask the first question, we can add additional legislation.
Yes. Mhm.
I'm sure within a relatively short period of time.
Yes.
Okay, that is also under new business. Next, we have a street light request for Mill Road at the Aurora Mills. This is actually from Brian Smith. He's been in touch with Martha and in the need for additional street lights at the intersection of Mill and Aurora Mills at the condo entrance. There is an existing district there. I believe the next thing we would have to do is send this to NICEAG to see what they would.
Right. If the board decides that they want to add another streetlight there, then we would send it to NICEAG for their input.
So there's one there now.
There is one, if you're looking at your Google map down going south, there's one just off the picture.
Oh,
That's where the bend is, the big bend in Mill. Not big, but where the bend is going down the hill. There's one there. And then there's one at the Kelly Drive entrance to the apartments.
Is
So-
that the first one shown here? First pole?
No,
It's,
no, these two poles don't have lights on them. They're the closest ones
Okay.
to the Aurora Mills entrance, and that's where they'd like a light or two.
that'll light up the road. I'm not too sure, right?
yeah.
Lights up their entrance, but
I was hoping someone from their association would be here tonight to discuss exactly where they want it and why, but they're
it
not.
almost seems like they should have.
I mean,
yeah, some
we
kind
can
of
always
entrance
table,
light
we can always
system.
table it. It's not a problem.
They're right. They want to see what NICEAG proposes. There's nothing binding, right? If we have NICEAG, do they do that as a free service or how does that work?
Well, what we do is we tell them the location we'd like it, and then they come back to us and ask us what kind of light we want. And then they come back and say, okay, it's appropriate for that, or it's not appropriate.
And I don't know if they'll do two right in a row like that, would they, Martha?
I don't know. That's something we'd have to find out.
I don't think it's bigger than that. It's not. They may be. You know. Valid reasons. for asking that.
What I thought was interesting, they wanted a minimum of 2 additional lights.
Mhm.
So does that mean that they have like some grand plan? And these are just the 2 that they're asking for first or?
I mean, the other hand, we can send it to NICEAG and just get a proposal. What will they do and how does it affect everything? And then bring them in and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if they'll even look at this NICEAG or if they.
But this is a safety concern, I assume, right? Not a
It's a
aesthetic.
safety concern. Again, I go back to the developer. Why didn't they put an entrance light in 70 home project when you think there'd be some kind of light?
Yeah, and maybe they still can.
Yeah.
If it's an out of the right of way. they could do it, right?
But because these lights are gonna flash in the road, I mean, are they, I guess, again, to your comment, are they complaining about the road or are they complaining about the driveway?
And maybe Shane could comment as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we should table it because Shane could comment.
All right, I
Is
think
there a
you're right.
safety concern? And
Table to next meeting.
That sounds like a good idea.
Too many questions, right?
can someone, who wants to reach out to Shane, Martha? Yeah.
Next, we have a request from Jennifer. I see Jennifer out there.
I don't see her out there. Maybe we should table this too to next meeting.
We got to table this because you were late. You were a couple minutes. late. I know we can't, for some reason we can't find it, but I know we did something for you last year and you want to come up to the mic and explain to everyone what you're at.
Sorry, I was late. Yeah, you did it last year, last minute, and it's really just a backup. It's not like a mandatory permit that I need. It's just in case like the liquor board or anybody asks me information, I just compile a lot of letters and support letters and stuff.
So what happens is the SLA, when there's so many alcohol permits pulled at Knox Park, they all of a sudden go, we want to hear from the town. Is that okay?
Yeah. So in the past, it wasn't an issue because there was really no other events at the park. And now the park is having a lot more events that are requiring beer and like liquor permits. So then it gets red flagged in the SLA system and they ask just for more letters of support, just saying, that you guys know it's happening. Shane knows it's happening. I already got the letter from Shane. So it's just kind of backup information that everybody is aware of the event. And
So we have a copy of the letter from Shane. I mean, if we just change the wording and send it in, you'll be happy with that?
you could just send it to me and then
Okay,
I
yep.
send it in with the whole file,
Okay.
the whole permit file. Yeah.
All right. Anybody have a issue with that? Nope.
Thank you.
We will do it.
Should I linger around or?
You don't have to.
Okay.
Unless you're really that
I'm
bored.
extremely interested in what you're talking about, but
Stick around.
We need every seat filled that we can.
I know, busy day here. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer.
Good to see you guys.
Yep.
All right, now that she's gone, let's start the party. Yeah.
Talk about what we really
Next we have the Article 78 zoning issue that we need to speak about as far as hiring outside counsel. Bridget, I think, sent everyone an email on her firm, what they would charge. After discussing this in length with her, I think it is a good idea that we pursue outside counsel. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Bridget's on. Bridget. Oh,
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
yes. How you doing?
Great. How are you all doing?
Good. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, sure thing.
So we just started talking about the Article 78, seeking outside counsel. You want to explain?
Sure. Sure. So as I wrote to, as I spoke with you about Jim and I wrote to the board, this is a pretty complicated piece of litigation that's being brought against the town. A solar company that is seeking to develop a project in a area that is not zoned for solar in the town of Aurora, requested a variance from the zoning board of appeals. The board of appeals denied that variance. And so that solar company has brought in Article 78 challenging the decision of the zoning board. This is a very important case in the state of New York because the issue is whether a solar project should be treated as a public utility. And why is that important? That's important because public utilities are not held to the same standard for obtaining a use variance as non-public utilities. And up until this point, it didn't look like a court in the state of New York had affirmatively declared that solar project is indeed a public utility. So one of the things that this lawsuit is seeking to do is A, overturn the decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals, and B, get the Supreme Court of the state of New York to make a declaration that from this point on, all solar projects of utility scale solar project should be treated as public utilities and are entitled to the more lenient standard when they seek to obtain a variance and place their projects in a district that's not zoned for solar projects of that nature. And so because it's a highly complicated point of law and because it's going to have very long-term, far-reaching implications in the state of New York, and it will affect every municipality in the state of New York, I thought that the best advice I could give to the town at this point would be to hire outside counsel that's very experienced in both litigation and land use issues. And as you all know, I do think that my firm, Lippis Mathias, is absolutely qualified if you decide to appoint them in this. I think they're absolutely qualified to take on this case. And I think it would be an honor because this case has the potential of making law in New York State.
Bridget, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So if we did hire your firm, it seems to me that would make sense because then you could work hand in hand with them also, correct?
Yep, absolutely. The time that I put on this case would be part of my duties and responsibilities as the town attorney. So my time would not be charged on top of the firm's time.
It just makes sense to me.
I have a quick question though, Bridget, too, but I agree, Jim. Bridget, is this the first time that this company has been in front of a town, in front of any town in New York State under the same circumstances where they were trying to get into a residential area or an agricultural area? And that zoning board in that town has denied them, or have they done this in other towns and the zoning board approved it? If you know that.
So I don't know yet because I haven't had time to look yet. What I have looked at is all the cases that have been brought in New York State by solar companies, because their industry is really pushing hard to get this public utility standard recognized by a court.
Okay.
I am fully on board with the external counsel. I think not because of the possibility that precedent will be set, but I do think that we need those extra resources to do what's right for the town of Aurora. And I think fighting it is something that we want to do, not because of that more statewide goal, but because it's what the town needs. It was in the best interest of the town. Like I said, with the appointment of the ZBA alternate member, I'm always more of a fan of opening it up to any law firm in town or wherever that would want to submit a proposal to us. That way we could compare. Obviously, there is a level of comfort knowing that Bridget is within the firm, and I spoke to her about this, but however we want to advertise it on the site or just give it a couple of days if we even need to.
There is, not to interrupt you, but there is an issue with time also.
I know.
And I'm not, is that correct, Bridget?
There is. The return date is coming up. I think I apologize. I don't have my notes in front of me. August 23rd or thereabouts. And I'll go to the court and ask for an extension. And my hope is that we'll be able to get a 30-day extension or a 60-day extension. But in an Article 78 proceeding, we need to get our entire certified record, affidavits, everything that we're going to use to defend this case. We need to submit that on our return date. So time is very much of the essence. There isn't a lot of time for any law firm to prepare for this. So you do want to move it right along as quickly as possible.
And do you have any preliminary thoughts on the success of their request for an Article 78? Are they going to have a hearing, or is it just going to be decided in the papers? But do you have any thoughts on the potential success? And it's kind of backing up on what Chuck asked too, is have they done this before and have they been successful too?
Yeah.
If you're asking to give an opinion on the chances that the solar company will be successful in this action, right now, Jim, it's impossible to know. They don't have the precedent yet. They did file with their petition a copy of a court order that was issued in New York State a few months ago, but that court order didn't. It mentioned in dicta that the court was recognizing solar projects to be public utilities, but they didn't get into an analysis of the case law. And so I don't think that case is binding. So it's very much up in the air. 50-50, Jim, is what I'm going to give you.
No, I understand that. I guess I was just trying to get some preliminary thoughts on that. Obviously, you wouldn't be recommending that we fight it if you thought it was a totally losing battle. I appreciate that. I just wanted to get some thoughts on it.
Oh, no. We have a very, very good shot. This is a winnable case for sure. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, are you done? Or I was just going to say something.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
I was just going to say to Luke's comments and putting it out. if we did that, by the time they got back to us and by the time we had a meeting and voted on it, I think we might be running out of time. I think to what Bridget is saying is we need to jump on this, start researching it and get it moving. So I'd be more of a fan of using her firm this time. If we had more time, it'd be different, but it's another one of those time sensitive things. So again, up to the board, but I know time is going to be an issue here for us.
And I agree, Luke, it's always good to do what you're suggesting here. It always is, but this isn't something where we can get a set cost on, so it comes down to who is the best qualified, and I feel that Bridget and her firm is probably.
Right, yeah, just with Ray, I don't have any problem with the firm, but if the extenuating circumstances are that we need to go quickly, then we can move forward with it. Just, I think
And because
when
they're
we have that
professionals.
opportunity in the future, we should be
Whenever we
looking
can.
around and seeing what are the different hours.
Totally agree,
rates and the-
totally agree.
So, but in this situation, extenuating circumstances, we got to go quickly. We can go with this and use Bridget's recommendation.
Any other questions for Bridget on that? Bridget, I want you to hang on and talk a little bit about Green Spot too, if you can, if you got time.
Yes, I will talk on,
Yeah.
but I just need a couple of
Just,
minutes.
I just
to
want,
kind
are we done with,
Yeah.
okay. Just bring everyone up to update on the Green Spot, and the term that we thought would bind future boards, but doesn't. Would you just explain that real quick? That's all. And then I'll let you go.
Sure. So I'm scrambling to find my notes from the cases, but here's the deal. Generally, a board of a municipality is not permitted to bind future boards on certain types of decisions. Those are generally governance decisions, powers that are exercised pursuant to the laws that are enacted that give you your powers as a municipal board. So for example, if you have the power to appoint, let's say the town attorney, for example, and the law says for 2 years, you wouldn't have the authority to change that law to appoint a town attorney for a period of longer than 5 years, because that's one of your governance powers. But there are certain types of contracts that you can enter into beyond 5 years, and those are contracts that are business and ministerial in nature, not governance. So we often will see commercial, different types of leases, for example, are often go 5-10 years or more when municipalities enter into them. And that's perfectly fine because they're not exercising their governance authority. And so when I took a look at the power station contract, to me, this does not feel like it's a contract that it represents your board's governance of the town of Aurora. This is very much a business contract in business terms, and it's something that the town board is deciding to do as a service to the residents and visitors of the town. So as I told you, Jim, I don't think that you necessarily have to be bound by a 5-year maximum term limit with this contract. I think that you could have the authority to enter into a term for a longer period.
Yeah, it's comparable to like a franchise agreement, Time Warner, whoever we're doing business with. So, any questions about that of Bridget? I really would like to get a vote to authorize me to sign this new agreement. They have a station in stock. They could get moving on this. I think we're dead right now. I don't believe we're charging. I'd like to get it moving. It really goes from taking this from a 5-year to a 10-year contract, but we're still not paying anything. And what they did say is they would pay us for the remaining software with ChargePoint. So they would write us a check right off the bat for $2,190. And the money that we invested already in software with ChargePoint. So at least we're getting something back out of it. So
It's kind of a win-win, can't hardly lose deal.
No. But anything for Bridget before we let her go? Hey, Bridget, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Hey, Jim, is it okay if I don't stick around for the general meeting tonight?
Oh, absolutely. No, that's fine.
Okay,
Go
terrific.
enjoy yourself.
Will do. Thanks, everybody. Great seeing you all, even though you can't see me, and we'll see you
Okay,
soon.
thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Any discussion on the green?
I thought someone was out there, Karen,
If they are, we are not recouping any of our investment.
I just wanted to make sure.
And I've been talking to I mean, it's been hit and miss. I get calls, hey, it's not working. Then the next day it is working.
That's what I heard.
We're in essence, we're not recouping any money right now for any of the electric that's going through it. So it's a freebie.
So, oh, yeah, they're not even being charged.
No.
When they put their credit card in, the
No.
whopping 6 cents of,
Which is
yeah,
ridiculous in itself, but I mean,
okay. Well,
all right.
Yeah.
Oh. Hi. Do you want to talk to us about the light in front of your street? Is that what you're here for? If you would come up and talk into the mic as best you can and give us your name and address.
Yeah, good evening. Michael Kelly. I'm the president of the condo board, and I live at 36 Aurora Mills Drive. My neighbor from across the cul-de-sac, Brian Smith, would have liked to have been here tonight, but he had another commitment. So I'm in his stead, or he would be here with me. What can I additionally?
So we had spoke about this a little earlier. You're requesting some lights from NICEC at the telephone
Yeah.
pole.
Yes.
Are there any approach lights in your driveways going into your complex?
In the driveway, you have to get several car lengths in. Then Morano, who built the development, has this very ornate looking brick thing, and it has lights on it, but from the roadway, you can see it at all, especially with some of the plantings that are out front. So you really come up in the dark, blind on that thing. And I mean, technically, it's an intersection. I'd hate to see something happen there where somebody was coming out or vice versa, and there was an accident.
I should know this, but do you have lights inside the,
Yes.
once you get
We have street lights all the way around.
street lights all, so.
Yeah.
Would an option be to extend those street lights out to the street, or?
That isn't under our control at this point. We're still in a hybrid situation with Morano still building, so we can't do anything about that. But we really need them right out on the road. And I don't know that we could put anything in the right of way. You know, where the power poles are.
Right. No, I'm sure you couldn't.
Right. But
So,
it definitely would be in the public interest to have those lights there. And it certainly would be a convenience for the people who live there or visiting or whatever.
well, I thank you for coming because that was helpful. We had tabled it before because we didn't have anybody here, but
Sure.
I would be willing to say, let's not table it and just at least send it to NICEC and see what they say. What, if they will do it, if they won't do it.
That'd
And what
be
their
great.
program would be. I mean,
So,
costs us nothing to do it.
Yeah.
One of the diagram or the Google map that was attached, I don't know if that came from.
Brian.
It came from Brian.
Yeah.
Do you know what thought or how it was proposed
There-
that the lights?
He had said there are two existing power poles or light poles. They don't have any lights on them now, of course, but there's two existing poles there now that are wired across. And if those each had one of those, street light type attachments to them, it probably would do the job.
I guess it probably, I don't know. Put up there.
Yeah.
Don't do the job.
Well,
And then that would probably be the complex would have to put some lighting.
Well,
These are gonna hang out over the street.
yeah,
I'm not too sure they can do anything in your driveway.
the driveway itself, once you get into it, is okay.
Okay.
But it's the outside. Now, to follow up on the adequacy, if NICEAG does give a proposal, well, luckily we've got Brian in our back pocket who's available, and he'll evaluate it as far as what the looms will be and so forth, and what he thinks will be adequate, and whether we can live with that or whether we'll have to do something else. I had suggested at one point at one of our meetings that we'd look into getting something solar powered that we might be able to establish ourselves. But again, we just can't get that close to the roadway.
It's a town road, right? No.
County.
Okay, is it a county road?
Mm. But it's the town district, right?
Yeah.
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 I wouldn't have a problem with untabling it, if you guys
Good.
are good with that. And then seeing it, at least presenting it to NICEAG.
That'd be great.
You guys good with that, everyone?
I am, sure.
Lou? Yep, okay.
All right. I appreciate you taking it up so quickly. Thanks
No
again.
problem. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah.
Anything else for the work session?
Do you think we should inform the neighbors that we're considering putting a light on a pole at the street? I don't know. That's necessary. I know the girl across the street
Across the setback at least.
quite a bit. Yeah.
We don't know if we are yet anyway. We're still,
Yeah.
we gotta see what they're gonna do for it. Anything else on the work session that anyone wants to do? If not, we'll go right into our regular meeting tonight. And number one, there are no public hearings. Number two, I need a motion to approve the July 25th, 2022 work session and meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Chuck. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? It's carried. Audience, and I don't, well, yes, we do. Come on up, Rod. Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen. Rod Simeon, 85 Byberry Court, East Aurora, New York. To address your question of Bridget about precedence on the solar farm. The answers are yes and no. This,
What was the question?
was there any
Previous,
precedence? Yeah.
Okay.
This outfit petitioned the ZBA in Binghamton for a solar farm in a area, and they were granted the variance.
oh,
There was a second one, I don't know the municipality, that a solar farm petitioned the municipality, and the ZBA said no, they denied it. My understanding is that the ZBA, the language of that town for solar farms was a lot tighter than ours. So as Bridget mentioned, they came before us, really pressed us for an answer, even though they had very incomplete proposal. And I think they were, I don't want to say baiting us, but challenging us to go to court to get a precedent. So that said, I think it's a winnable case, and whoever you select to represent you, I would hope you vet them for the attorney who has trial experience, because it will be a kind of a landmark case.
and the one that was approved in Binghamton, Rod, that was in an agricultural,
I believe it
District?
was.
not a,
I believe it was.
okay.
Yeah. But they were not challenged, and they voted for it. So,
Gotcha.
and I think they came for us thinking they will get the same results.
Okay,
Anything else?
Oh, that's
thank you.
good
Thank
information.
you.
Good information. And I don't believe there's anybody else, so there is no unfinished business.
Are you adding green spot to the agenda?
I was gonna add it to new business,
It
should
would
it be
go
old
under-
business?
Yeah, because we've already done it.
Okay. And we'll add that to unfinished business. I need a motion to add green spot and an amendment to their original contract. Do I have a motion? Motion by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Luke. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. And then I need a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the contract with Green Spot. With the 10-year contract. That financially has no impact on the town. And we would be getting a acquisition payment of $2,190 at the time of signing. And this would be for a 10-year contract, having their charge station in our town hall parking lot. We have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign it.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Chuck. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great. Thank you on that. Now, new business. Do we need to add the Article 78? I guess would we'd have to vote on.
Did we get a letter of engagement from?
No, we
Bridget?
haven't. That's what I'm saying. Do we need to vote on accepting a letter of engagement that we haven't seen? Or
Is there a way we can authorize the supervisor to be authorized to make that decision?
We have information all about hourly rates and.
Yes.
Yeah.
she sent an email to,
Bridget said that.
I must not be getting like. I didn't get.
I think it was 325 or 325. 325 an hour.
A blended rate for associates and
Yes.
partners and all of them. Yeah.
Which is pretty the norm.
Pretty good.
I mean, for something like this, it's we have no idea what the cost is going to be to litigation.
I mean, I'm good to, if we need to do a special meeting to do it. If that's
Good.
what we need to do. If there's a way we can do it tonight, that. Of course, Bridget's not here, so.
Well, it would be a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign an engagement letter with
At terms of agreed by the supervisor,
the
yeah,
hourly rate of $325 an hour.
or 75, we should check that out. Are we sure it's,
325 or 370?
25, it's on your email.
yeah, I can check my email. I mean, attorneys and numbers, right? So. 325, yep.
Trying to get $50 an hour more, weren't you?
No, no, I was, no. I'm fine with authorizing it, the engagement letter that you review.
All right, so let's add that. That would be O. We're gonna add engage, authorizing the supervisor to sign an engagement letter with what's the name of it? Lipless. Yes. This plan. Is that good? I need a motion to add P then.
So moved.
Motion by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second.
oh, Chuck.
Second by Chuck. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. Okay, let's go down the list here. A, this is the ZBA alternate member appointment for Ray Rosen. We discussed in the work session. We have a motion to appoint Ray Rosen to the alternate position of the Town Zoning Board of Appeals to serve till December 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Motion by Jim. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Chuck. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, it's carried. Next, we have the temporary use permit, Warren Drive Park. This is for the soccer shots in Buffalo, from Buffalo, and this is for September 10th to Saturdays to the November 12th. So I believe that's every Saturday in between, correct? If I'm reading right. Anyways, this will be at Warren Park. They have full insurance and they've done this before with no issues. So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Luke. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Chuck. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that's carried. And next we have the general code proposal for codification. The motion to go ahead and prove this estimate, which would be between $7,109 to $7,650.
So moved.
Motion by Luke. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Chuck. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that is carried. Next, this would be a budget transfer to handle that proposal from Martha. And I will just ask for an approval as listed.
I'll make that motion.
Motion
Second.
by Chuck and second by Luke. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that is carried. Next, we're untabling a table. And I guess I would say we need a motion to authorize, would be Martha to send a letter to NICEC investigating the lighting situation at the Aurora Mills entrance. We have a motion. Motion by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Luke. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that is carried. Next, we have the Borderland request letter of no objection to alcohol permit. I have a motion to write a letter to Jennifer. So she included in her packet. Stating that the town of Aurora does not have an issue with her alcohol permit.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Chuck.
Second.
And second by Luke. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and is carried. Next is request from Kathleen Moffett of a budget amendment. The Rotary Club donation for community pool diving board. And again, I will just ask you to approve it as listed. You don't need to read these.
So moved.
Motion by Luke. Do I have a second? Second by Jim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that is carried. Next, we have H, the budget amendment for the B fund. And this is for the grant submission payment to Wendell. And it's in the amount of $1,000. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Luke,
I'll second.
second by Chuck. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that is carried. And next we have a budget transfer for operations of building. This is from Martha Librock. And this is to correct deficiencies in the misdirected payments. What's that, Martha? I'm not sure what that means. Misdirected payments? Is it?
You'll hear more about it at the budget meetings.
Okay,
On
is this
Tuesday,
for the
but this is-
contracted?
Yeah, this
Okay.
has to do with the contracted budget
Okay.
line and the repair maintenance budget line, and there was some confusion as to what was coming out of what.
Okay,
So I went through and I took what they felt should have come out of the contractual line and am giving that
Okay.
amount or having that amount put in the repair maintenance line. Yeah. that's it.
So do we are sorry, I don't remember this one. We're increasing the operations line at the expense of the contracts line?
Correct. There were things put into the contractual line that Dave Gunner felt should, or put into the R&M line, I'm sorry, that should have
Yes.
come out of the
Yes.
contractual line.
Yeah.
So we're taking that amount of those payments and putting it back in repair and maintenance. I probably said it backwards. I apologize.
Yeah, no, yeah. So we're increasing the R and M at the expense of the contract line, or are we taking the previous payments from R
We're
and
taking the
M?
previous payments from that
Yeah.
went into R and M that should have gone into contractual. And just moving that money.
I was a little slow on that one, but I got there.
Sorry. I probably said it backwards too.
I got there eventually.
We have a motion to approve the budget transfer request.
So moved.
Motion by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second, yeah.
Second by Luke. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that is carried. The next, we have the polling location lease agreement. That's just the ones we've signed before. And this is for the primary election Tuesday. We already have that one. Primary election Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, and general election Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. Any,
I have a question before. So it looks like at least the 2 pages I have, it considers Aurora District 1, 3 at the senior center and 4, 5 at the middle school center, and have your work 2 might be.
Where is it usually?
I think 2 was at the senior center as well, but I don't know. I'm not in, oh, no, maybe 2
No,
was over at the.
Choose it Nativity, I believe.
At Nativity, is
Yeah.
that what it is?
and portable,
No, it's not Porterville.
we're here in Maine.
On Main
Yeah.
Street?
Oh, so they wouldn't be contracting with us, so.
Right.
Yep.
And the one that you didn't get a copy of, which got to me late, Jim has it, is for the highway garage. For 8 and 10, I believe it is.
Yes,
So it'd be for this building, the senior center and the highway garage.
There's that addition.
a motion to approve or
We may
authorize
have-
the
may have-
supervisor to sign the lease agreement.
I think we have a comment from one of our board members.
3.
Okay. Nativity,
Church.
okay, I still need a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the polling lease agreement.
Jim.
Jim moves to authorize that. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Chuck. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that is carried. Next, we have a donation. This is from Chris Mushaven, approval to accept a donation from Absolute Care for $275 to go towards Hamlin Park Day Camp supplies. Have a motion to accept. Motion by Jim. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Chuck. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. And next, this is from Kathleen Moffett. It's a budget amendment for the Aurora Park Day Camp donation. Do I have a motion to accept as listed?
So move.
Motion by Luke. Second by Jim. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, it is carried. And M is another request to accept a donation for the July 3rd celebration from Chris Mushaven. He requests that we accept donations as presented below to go towards bands for the July 3rd celebration. Rieger Holdings LLC, $250, Rieger Holdings, another $250, and Murray Brother Nursery, $50. They have a motion to accept.
So moved.
Motion by Chuck,
Second.
second by Luke. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. Next, we have a request from Elizabeth Cassidy, our code enforcement officer. She would like to attend the Western Southern Tier Building Officials Education Conference in Jamestown, New York on September 7th and 8th and 9th. And attendance will cover nearly all continuing education credits as required by New York State. And over the last 2 years, all education classes were held remotely. Costs for non-members is $325. The mileage will be approximately $85 a day. Costs will be taken from the expense and travel line, which has a balance of $1,448.75. A motion to authorize.
So moved.
Motion by Luke. Second.
Second.
Second by Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. And next we have P, and that is to authorize the supervisor to sign an engagement letter with and I can't think of it. Lippis Asias. For the Article 78 action brought against. Do you have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Chuck. Do I have a second? Second by Jim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. Communications and reports. We have the July 2022 Senior Center, Town Clerk, Building Department, Dog Control, which is May, June, July reports, work requisition, and supervisor reports. Next, we have business from the board members. Start with Jim. No new business, Chuck. What's that? Luke?
I do want to say that the rec department, Megan, Chris, but all the volunteers there done a fantastic job at the camp this summer. My son was there a couple weeks ago and then last week as well, and just done such a great job. The kids have a ton of fun. So thank you to them for putting together some good programs. It is, there's a wait list on it. It's a lot of kids that want to get into it. So it's good
And they
thing.
do a great job.
They do.
Thank you. I've got a couple things. I was able to attend a party at the Advertiser for their 150-year celebration on Thursday. It was really nice party that Grant spoke at, and Rob Gowler, our historian, spoke at, and the Advertiser gave Rob a time capsule to hold on to in his department for not to be open for 50 years. So some of you might be around. I don't think we will.
I hope you are, Jim.
The other thing I just wanted to, and Dave Gunner and his staff aren't here, but what a great job on the parking lot. And they did the tennis courts and the pickleball. They paved all that. I mean, they just did a wonderful job in the last couple of weeks, and saves us a ton of money by him doing that, and instead of hiring it out. So just want to thank him. And that's it. So we go to audience. It's an opportunity for anyone to get up and speak. I'm sorry, sir, you've already had your turn. Come on up, Rod. If it wasn't for Rod, we wouldn't have anybody.
Yeah.
He's new Tony. New Tony.
Rod Simeone, by recording, Aurora, I request the extension of the 27 minutes I didn't use last time. Granted.
Go right ahead.
No, quick update, and I thank you for the appointment to the advisory board for the ADU. Just a quick report. It looks like we have a two-pronged attack, considering some changes to the RR designation that would add the ability to put a second dwelling unit in those locations. More importantly, though, Liz Cassidy reported that New York State and Erie County are talking about ADU mandates. And I think it's important that the town of Aurora get out in front of this and have a separate language for ADUs in their code, so as to not be dictated by either of those entities. So and we're making good progress. We had 2 meetings and at least one more planned. So
Are these for commercial buildings only? You talking-
No, ADU, additional dwelling units.
Okay, I thought you were saying something different.
No,
Sorry, I
no.
heard you wrong.
Okay. Any questions?
I apologize. I missed the second meeting. I didn't realize until I got in the summary email, but so I apologize for missing the last meeting, but the summary from Tim was good. So
We took your vote. We proxied it. So you're okay. Thank you.
I do, one more thing we can, just a question real quick, is that Joe and I have been talking, we have a couple extra laptops and it is difficult. So I used to have like a work computer I could put my thing on, but now that I have security on that, I'm afraid to put town issues. I can't put town issues on my one laptop. My home laptop, I'm afraid to put town issues on because then during the next episode of Peppa Pig, my 3-year-old may be sending out emails to residents. And so I didn't know if what the thoughts are if we have a policy for laptops or Google Chromebooks or whatever it is, because those can be $300 a Google Chromebook or like a tablet of some sort. Just something makes it a little bit easier to get town work done and keep it secure. I don't know if anyone just would be interested in this, because are we talking, we need 5 of them? Nobody wants this. Would it just be then using one of the laptops from time to time, whatever it is? But it is easier to organize the work when you have a dedicated sort of thing, whatever it is that you could
Would
use.
you, that would be a laptop that you would take with you or leave it at the town?
It's
Because we
easier
do
to-
not have a policy.
Yeah.
So to do this, I think we need a policy and we need to.
Yep.
And we've talked about this before.
I think we need one anyways, because we
Yeah,
have
and
a
it
laptop
might
at
be something
recreation
we could-
already.
Give it to Bridget, but we need to come up with a policy if we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And, I don't have a problem with it. And, this is the time to start talking about budget time and,
Yeah.
if
I
we're
mean,
gonna
we
do-
may have enough machines now if the maximum we're using is 4 or 5 or something, and
We have-
depending on how many people want them.
I think we have 2, right?
We have 7 total. And one is out over at rec, one is at the pool. And Liz uses 2.
We have 2 in
Elizabeth
our
uses
office,
2.
right?
Oh, you don't use, no, Elizabeth uses 2 and Liz then I guess doesn't use any. So that means that we have 4 and there's 3 extra.
Yeah.
So we do have 3 that are not in use then right now, according to Kathleen, although she did think that Liz was using one still. So no.
We just need to get a policy. We need to talk to Nick. I mean, we just don't want to,
Give those things out. Sure.
we don't
Yeah.
have a problem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if.
I mean, it could only be used for town things and it's not a personal computer and whatever. It has to have the security on it, but.
If you wanted to take the ball on that and come up with a policy or see what other towns are doing and talk to Nick.
We reached out to Cheektowaga. They give out tablets, so their policy wasn't great. I don't know. Do we
I
know? of
think
anyone
Alma
else?
does tablets. What? I'm
I'll
not
help
too
with
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I have a laptop. Great. I hate having to take work home, but it's so convenient. And right now, the emails that I'm getting are on my phone. If my phone isn't working, I get an email. I have something that's owned by the town, but it would be.
Well, the way my brain works, I have an inbox, and when I'm done with a message, I don't know, I just take it out of the inbox, and so you that way have a way of like, if it's still in my inbox, means that I haven't processed it yet, and I need to do something. And when I was working on the laptop that I was able to do it on, I felt a little more organized. I'm just kind of like feels crazy in my mind, all these things flying around. So it'd be good to.
As long as we have a policy in place, protection and
Yeah.
Nick, approved by Nick. And,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem.
And then would you want one? Or no?
Just something really, yeah, something that would make it a little bit easier to get the emails and be able to trail around that. I wouldn't need it.
Yeah, I know Joe has said he wanted one. Would you two want one?
I have the one at
Right.
my office and I use my own computer for the emails. That's all I use it for.
So then we wouldn't even have to buy anything because we have the 3 that
You're
are
wasting money
there.
for me.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, I have no problem if that makes your job easier. And you
That would,
guys
so.
more efficient than, but we just need to do a policy. We need to
Yeah.
come up with a
Well,
policy.
Kathleen reached out for the second time now to try to get.
We talked
New York-
about this before.
New
and
York
I thought
Association of
Joe was
Towns.
getting a policy or
I
something.
mean, yeah.
Actually, we're talking about this. We don't have anything there for a policy in this. I thought
we had
Never
some.
happened.
kind
We
of-
never-
we're gonna come up with a policy.
We talked about this with the old board.
Yeah.
And then
Because we did come up with a policy for computer use. Does that have anything about it, about laptops or no? So that's just, you
you
know,
need to talk to Kathleen.
Yeah.
and Nick.
we,
see what-
yeah. I talked to Nick.
Nothing's there.
He said that it's easy to find a machine and they're not expensive to do that. It's easy. And then talked to Kathleen and she had reached out before, but she was gonna write again to the Association of Towns to see if they have anything. Plan something.
All right, moving on. Staff reports. Paul? Anything? Okay. Connor? Got anything?
Hi everyone, how's it going? Apologize for missing the last couple meetings. I've been a little preoccupied with bar prep, but now that that's done, I saw at the last meeting that the West Falls Committee was officially formed, and I guess curious what the next steps would be for filling spots on there. Is that something the board we like to give you names, or seek out who might be interested, or just curious?
We would appoint that, right? Martha, we appoint to that board, but then we would just need recommendations from obviously you, and
Okay, sounds good.
then we could just put it on the agenda and point. And I believe that in the bylaws, there was a term, right? Was it a
Yeah, it was similar to like how the planning board is. Every year it's the term expires. So at the beginning, at the outset, everybody's would be a little bit, staggered.
Right.
So
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well,
just get them to?
I'll send out. I already have a few people who've expressed interest. So I'll try and get a letter from those people and
Okay.
stating that they're interested.
I'm sure you vetted them, so
Yeah, exactly. So awesome. Well, thank you so much.
thank you,
Yeah.
Connor. Liz.
Thank you for authorizing me to take those code classes. It'll be the first time in a couple of years that I've sat through a whole entire conference. I just wanted to also update the board that Jim Kittner has completed his certification. And now he is deep in the weeds of learning the ins and outs of the daily job. So we're pleased that we're moving in the right direction with our staff at this point in time.
When do you get the new software?
The town has returned their agreement, and Cloud Permit has asked for a $0 agreement from the village because we're part of their debt part. They'll be hosting their data as well. So that as soon as that comes back, then we will have a pre-meeting with Cloud Permit, and Jen is in the process of gathering information for them, such as our permits, our fee schedule, forms and things like that, so that they can start to put that together. So next couple of months.
Thanks. Just something that came in my hand. Where is Code Red? I know we authorized to send it to the village.
Yep. I hope it's Monday now. And I was gonna come in and talk to Maureen and make sure we got it on the agenda. Their attorney came back and wanted us to change their national terms that they have on the website. And so I reached out to ask, and he was kind of laughing a little bit, but said he would check and get back. So I'm just kind of waiting on that. So in good faith, I can go back to them and say that no, that proposal was rejected. Other than that, I hope we're okay to get it on.
Motion to approve the abstract.
So move.
Second.
Luke and Chuck. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. And a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Jim. Second by
Second.
Luke. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that is carried. Thank all three of you for coming tonight.